Successful people will usually invest money to save time. Unsuccessful people will generally spend money to spend time to save money. Get it right the other way around. No, because we can't make more time, can we? So when we look at stuff, before we move on to the next exercise, this is something I don't want you to share. So maybe find another page you can write it down, because this is your information. What I'd like you to do is write down two numbers. The first number you write down is how much do you pay yourself on an average per week?
0. That was easy.
Awesome. Yeah, so write that first number down. This is only for you. Then what I want you to do is to write down how many hours that you spend working in and on your business. And then I want you to divide how much you pay yourself by those hours and determine what your hourly rate is.
Negative, minus.
Everyone's different, Nick. So do me a favour, write it down. So in other words, if I was paying, and I'll just keep simple numbers here, if I was paying myself $2,000 a week and I was working 40 hours a week, I would be paying myself how much per hour? $50 an hour, approximately. Less taxes and, yes, everything else. So if we have a look at that, that's your number. I don't want you to share with anybody else. How many here, the worst I've seen, without it being a startup, the worst I've seen for an established was somebody who was paying themselves $3.26 an hour. Now, if you have an employee, aka a team member, are you legally allowed to pay somebody? This is for you to answer for yourself. Are you legally allowed to pay somebody else what you're currently paying yourself in your business? Here's two other numbers I want you to think about. If you are doing what you do well, that generates your revenue for within your business, how much should you be earning on an hourly rate? If you were running things well, how much should you be earning and paying yourself? Hayden?
Paying yourself by the hour is a bit of a misnomer because
No, it's just for the point of the exercise.
you're building equity as a side issue.
You would hope to, but I've seen people who have tried to sell a business that they can't. That they would need to pay me to take it off their hands. And pay me handsomely to consider taking it off their hands. So that's the second question. So every time that I look at doing something, one of my questions is, if I'm my worth to myself in my business, if my business is operating well, is X. Can I outsource or delegate that to somebody else who costs me less than X? Because what does that allow me to do? Do what I do well. Jason.
I got a bit of a aha moment, maybe just get some clarity. So, we've got some people that may be starting the business and the hourly rate may be $4 an hour, right?
Less.
Less. And then you've got some people that are $50 an hour as used in that example. So, at what point do you outsource? Do you outsource? If your rate's $4 and the Philippine person's $7,
Good example. Yep. It makes sense. Look, I think this is where it comes down to affordability as well, because you can't spend money on things that you don't have the money to spend on. Okay, so I may want to do that, which means I have to do what? If I can't outsource it, I've just got to carry the can until we can. I've got to work smarter and work harder. I've got to be very vicious around that delusion and distraction time, those not urgent, not important times in particular, that just are gutting my day. Gutting my day.
The other point on that would be, let's say one sale is worth $20,000, but obviously in a month, let's actually that example, say $10,000 in 1 week, and then in a month that's all I make, because I just made one sale. But the question would then be, do you outsource do you sort of try and make it affordable? Because if each sale's worth 10,000, you can get more sales at some point.
If you could cash flow it, yeah. I mean, every individual is different. So what I'm trying to talk about is an overarching concept that we look at individual things. I feel like a financial planner. This is not an individual advice. This is something, you've all heard those disclaimers seen them on TV. But as a concept, so if I was in cash flow crisis, I cannot afford to outsource it. I can't afford to delegate it because there's no one else to delegate it to. I've got to carry the can. It's not nice, it's not pretty, it's not ideal. But sometimes we just have to do what we have to do. Yeah? And it's what we do during those defining moments which will help to determine our success or failure within business. We all have peaks and troughs. I was talking to somebody else about this here in the room just recently. We all have peaks and troughs. But how high and how long those peaks sustain and how short and shallow those troughs are, who determines that? Is it because of the change of government in the last 48 hours? I don't think Mr. Turnbull's going to affect me too much in the next whatever. Unless he could turn the Aussie dollar around and send it north again, of which I'd be very happy with my import business. For those of us who import at the moment, the Aussie dollar not so good. But I can't change it, can I? So I just have to suck it up and deal with it. So that's the point I'm trying to make. Oftentimes we just don't do it. We spend that time to save money, and the time we can't get back again.
You also talk about that like in terms of personal expense. So for example, you've got like a plumbing problem, you have to do these things and stuff like 3 or 4 hours. Always hire a plumber to come and do it yourself, do it for you.
Yep.
But in that 3 or 4 hours, you could have spent working on the business instead of fixing your tap.
Spot on. And in fact, that was my epiphany. Family time is the most important time in the world for me. Who's here ever sent an email or something passionately saying family is greater than all things? It's a real simple equation. Right? A few of you have seen that. Right? So I did a stupid thing. I decided a number of years ago I was going to paint one of the kids' bedrooms. Now, I can see a few of you having a chuckle because I'm the worst tradesman known to mankind. Mm-hmm. And I went out and I bought a cheap brush and I bought cheap paint and I bought cheap masking tape. And I spent time painting a bedroom on a weekend when I could have been out playing with the kids. What happened with the cheap brush? Half of it ended up inside the paint, not just on the handle. Yeah? What happened with the cheap masking tape? It bled everywhere underneath, so those nice clean lines that you see real tradespeople get, didn't actually occur. Which meant it cost me more money to then go and get someone else and pay them to do the job that I should have got them to do in the first place. But I was going to spend some money spend the time to save some money. Bad move? Yeah.
Well, the kids would have appreciated you putting effort in.
Oh no, they enjoyed laughing at me. They enjoyed ridiculing their father for... No, so I've learned something. I learned a very good lesson, and that was probably 10, 12 years ago. Stick to what I'm good at.
Could you afford a paint?
Yeah.
What if you can't afford a paint?
Well, then you've got to suck it up and put up with a crappy paint job if you've got me painting your house. So, this is where the balance, the individual thing has to come in. One of the things, we've invested in is I don't mow my own lawns. I don't do the gardens. I don't do any of that sort of stuff. I've got a bloke who whizzes in, whizzes out, does it all for $45. He leaves, he does a better job than me. Sorry? You get his number? And he's gone. He's in, he's out, and he's gone. What does that mean on a weekend? What used to take me 2 hours, he gets done in 20 minutes during the week. And what do I do with that 2 hours on the weekend? I can take the kids to breakfast. I have to spend Sunday morning mucking around on a mower, which I hated doing anyway. You see what I mean? So is that $22.50 an hour worthwhile? Yes or no? Right. Is it affordable at this stage of my life? At the moment, yes. So can I do it? Yes. Should I do it? Absolutely. So it's a nice little mix between the two. But it's when we should do something, we don't do that something. That's when there's a problem. So who would like to share, and we're not going to go table to table, on the top left-hand quadrant, the stuff that's not urgent, not important, that's sucking up your day. Kerry? Emails.
Some emails.
Facebook posts. Blimmin' Facebook's getting hammered. Zuckerberg, you evil man. Anybody else?
Now he's charging us for it.
Sorry? Now he's charging us for it. Smart man. Evil but smart. Anybody else? Talking to staff. Talking to staff.
About the weekend or something.
About stuff that's not important, yes. Yep. When's a good time to talk about the weekend? After hours. Theft of time is one of the biggest things, and often we steal from ourselves.
What about smoko breaks? As in,
Smoke a break, knock yourself out. That's your time, baby.
as in staff going out every half an hour and having a cigarette?
No, they're having smokos. They're not having smoko break. What's my thought on that, Lynn?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can have a break if it's your scheduled break.
Oh, okay.
That's your time. What you do on my time, that's my time. Anybody else want to throw something up? Come on, this is the most embarrassing one. This is the fun quadrant. I haven't heard any nasty little secrets here. Keeping up to date with the news, yes. Jace? TV. Anything else that's in that not urgent, not important, that's in business time? Sorry?
Socialising and lunching.
Socialising and lunching. Well, some of us use it as an important business tool. Actually, that's a good example. Who's here in a business network group? Most of us. Okay? How much time can you spend investing in relationships inside your business group? Lots of time? Yeah? Is it important? Is it urgent? And sometimes do we spend more time? We're spending time, we're deluding ourselves. So we've moved to the next quadrant, but I don't mind that. Right, we're deluding ourselves. When I first joined my very first business network group, formalised one, actually it was with Mark. I thought, this is awesome. I get to meet everybody all the time, and I was over-investing the time that I needed to. But could I justify to myself that I was getting to know everyone in my network group and everything else? Yes. What should I have done? Thought, okay, who can I offer the best value to? And in return, who can offer the best value to my business? They're the people most urgent, most important to speak to. Somebody that I can't help in any way, shape or form, and vice versa, and there are going to be people like that. They're people that I'm going to meet sometime when I've got spare time. Does that make sense? No, not just to get a number on the board. Okay, so let's move to the next one, which is the urgent but not important. This is the phone ringing. And you've got no idea because the phone's ringing. Is it a prospect or is it somebody trying to sell you a phone plan from the southern continent?
Check the number that comes up.
Well, in case it's silent. Who's got some stuff in there that sucks up their day that they'd like to share? That's the prerequisite. Manny.
I've got texts that ring us up and ask us questions sometimes that is important, but so it is urgent, but it's not important. That take up a lot of time.
Suck up a lot of time. So what are the sorts of tools that you could use that might help them?
Well, I know what go into detail here, but yeah, they can have things a bit more. We need to record things a bit more.
Yeah, and that's, I'm not saying to pick on you, Manny, but it's a case of, what could you do? You could build up a database of FAQs. You could actually have, identify those areas as areas of training. There are things that we can do about it to eliminate it.
Correct.
Right, so who here's got staff or team members? Yeah. How often do you get asked keep them up if you get asked the same blooming question by the same people multiple times? Groundhog Day, right? They're opportunities, but we get so busy dealing with everything else that we don't eliminate the things that are sucking up that time. But if we took the time to do it and we didn't have Groundhog Day, how much time would you have free in your day to work on something that's truly productive?